Hello and welcome to The Balanced Life. You're listening to 1180WFYL.com, and this is a program that airs every Saturday at 8 a.m. You can listen to it at 1180 a.m. or digitally you can hear the program at 1180WFYL.com. On the homepage there's a button that says click to listen live, so you can do that. You can bookmark it on TuneIn, or you can tell Alexa to play WFYL. But today we are really delighted to welcome Melinda Bastable and Nicole Roman, and they are from ReMax Achievers. They have two branch offices located on Route 29 in Collegeville next to the town center and on 2060 East High Street in Pottstown, PA. Melinda specializes in residential home sales in Montgomery and Chester counties. Nicole offers services to 5 counties wide, from property management, investment, land development, to residential buying and selling. Together they offer services covering all aspects of real estate. They are your dream team. And Nicole, I didn't get a chance to mention this to you, but way back in the day, I won't say how long ago it was, but I sold real estate advertising for the Wayne Suburban Times.
Yes.
And I worked with your office on and off, and you guys were first rate to deal with then. So I know from personal experience that ReMax Achievers is just an organization that is committed to excellence.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. We're excited. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
That is fantastic. And if we don't get a chance to talk about that more today, maybe another time we can talk a little bit more about that. But that says a lot about your longevity and that you're still in business and growing.
Sure. Melinda and I will be back.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Well, today, folks, we want to jump into, first of all, finding out a little bit more about Melinda and Nicole. And can I switch the order around a little bit, sure, Melinda? Absolutely. And can we start with you, Melinda? Tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit more about yourself.
So my name's Melinda Bastable. I've been selling residential real estate for the last 8 years. I also offer voiceover services too. So for a lot of my clients, if they want a walking, talking tour of their house, I'm able to offer that to them as well. I live in the community and my kids go to school there. So I know a lot about the area and I love what I do. It's totally my passion.
And it shines through loud and clear, Melinda. You can't miss that. But Nicole, if you would share a little bit about your history.
Sure. I am a girl that grew up in Worcester, Pennsylvania. I have not moved far from my hometown. I reside actually in Jeffersonville, and I have a family. And our business has been in Collegeville and Pottstown. My father started the business 30 years ago, and when he had me become involved in the business, he worked me through every department in the company, made sure I mastered each department. I have an accounting degree and background. I worked as a public accountant for 9 years, and at the same time obtained my real estate license. So I've been working in real estate for 25 years between managing, marketing, and sales with family and friends. And I really love people. And that's why I'm in the business. I love the diversity of the business, and I love the people I meet. I end up making lifelong friendships.
That's terrific. Your dad is a smart man. He did things the right way.
Yes.
So you know the business inside and out, literally.
I do. I feel really good about it.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are here. We're just going to jump into it. And we're wondering if you can tell our listeners how you keep yourselves mentally and spiritually balanced in such an ever-changing industry. I was just reading recently about the real estate industry and how it's still kind of difficult in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I guess we can talk about that a little bit later to hear your thoughts on that. But if you could share with us how you stay balanced those ways.
Sure. So both Nicole and I are big into exercising. For me, I like the outdoors. So I always start my day around 7 o'clock taking my puppy for a walk around my neighborhood. And I feel that it's a really good way to sort of, start my day, focus on my goals and what has to happen. So I go in with a fresh mind. I know that Nicole likes to go to the gym and work out, but we're both into, making sure that we're physically active. I think if you're physically active, it helps your mind along the way as well.
Definitely. And for me, it is about the gym, 5Ks, mud runs, and in my family, we make it a family affair. My husband and my children join us. So we try to make it a family bonding time. So I'm all about self-improvement.
And I think family comes in hugely here as well, because obviously with real estate it can be 24/7. So it's very important for us to kind of carve out time for our family. And that really helps with the real estate too, because we get involved in a lot of the things going on with the community, and through that, you know, people start to get to know us and trust us. So that's huge.
It is. And we have we're soccer families. So I think that adds balance to our life as well. We're spectating, meeting new people, and the camaraderie of the families on the team, celebrating together, commiserating together. But we really have that in common as well.
And we're really big as well, Kim, about keeping in contact with all of our clients. So Nicole and I make it a special thing in our lives to make sure that we're grateful to everybody that has kind of worked with us, and we keep in touch with them on a monthly basis. Often we just pop by their houses as well and give them something just to say thank you. So around Thanksgiving time, it's often asking them if they'd be interested in having a pumpkin pie, or if there's anything new that we can tell them about the area. So constantly just being grateful for them, and letting them know that after they bought or sold a house, we're still there for them. So I think that's huge, and people are very appreciative of that, and we get a lot of referrals from that too.
Nicole and Melinda, I have to tell you, that's almost the lost art, and I commend you for that. I remember one of my mentors once had a stack of Wawa cards, $5 Wawa cards, who knew? But he would make sure each week he would drop by or mail that to his customers or prospects. And boy, did they, and just a little touch, just thinking of you, thank you for your business.
Absolutely.
Makes a big difference.
It
Everybody
does.
wants to be appreciated, huh?
Right,
Yes.
right.
And we're so busy in, prospecting and trying to, which is right to move ahead, but take time to appreciate those who have worked with you throughout the year.
Yeah.
So, great touch.
Thank you. Our thank yous definitely have the feminine touch. We're big note card writers as well. And when you receive a note, another lost art, how often do you receive a note in the mail? Usually it's an email or a text message.
Yeah.
So people leave that on their counters and they think of you. They appreciate it.
Right.
It's the little touches.
Yeah. And then also we're very big with ReMax into a number of charities that we sponsor.
Yes. So we're hitting like all these areas like you're mentioning about your theme of balance. So we give back, and that's something that my father has committed to doing since the early 90s. And he is a son with 5 other siblings, and they're very involved in their community, very committed to, of course, their religion, and they did go to church every week, so then community knew them. And years ago, families would have some challenging times, and the community would support them.
That's right.
He did not forget that. And then myself growing up, family of 7, one of 5, and we would line up in Sunday mornings at church, and it would be the tallest to the smallest, in the pew. And he always supported what the church charity was giving back, whether it was a food shelter or making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for homeless. So he has used all of that background and brought it with him to ReMax. So we've adopted corporate sponsorship with Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Our company's donated over $300,000. Nationally, ReMax has donated over $150 million since 1992. And then we also participate with Susan G. Komen, the Race for the Cure. We'll volunteer at the registration booth, and then we'll participate in a walk or a run. Every December, we adopt a family. Agents in the office can adopt a family. Us personally, our family, we adopt a family and give them a Christmas because they don't have the financial wherewithal to do that. And then we run 2 food drives. So in November and December, we're collecting turkeys and canned goods. November time, what we traditionally do is donate 20 to 25 turkeys, approximately 300 canned goods to a local food pantry, and then in December, we donate 5 to 6 grocery carts full of food that we collect from the community.
That's great.
So we do a direct mail campaign to make that happen, and then in return, anyone that donates, we're bringing them a little can of homemade cookies just to say thank you. So it's something, constantly working towards something charitable.
So if listeners and viewers want to participate in this and contributing, is that open or is it just for your office?
That would be amazing.
It's for anybody. Any people in the local community can come in and drop something off at our office. That would be great.
One of the two offices, either the Collegeville office on Route 29 or the Pottstown office on High Street, 2060 High Street.
All right, well, I'm going to go on air and say I'm going to wait for Nicole to send me the information that we can post on Facebook about this. And I think it's great to participate in something like this. Even in tough times, we all have so much in comparison to many people around the world. So, Nicole, that's a great idea.
Sure. And if the community would prefer going directly to the food pantry, I can share that information with you too, because they have over 500 families to feed.
Wow.
Every month.
That's great. That's terrific. Well, thank you for giving us a more deeper insight into ReMax Achiever and what you guys do. It is more than just business. It's a part of being a community. Quite frankly, as you're speaking, I do have an advantage of knowing, because of my past, knowing more about some of the other real estate companies, and some of them are more franchise-like, whereas you are truly local in every sense of the word. So wanted to shift gears just a little bit and talk about how the real estate markets values have been affected. And since things have got to be better than they were 3-4 years ago, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, world economics has an effect. Right now, it's definitely a seller's market, so we have a shortage of inventory.
We've heard that.
Yeah, so things are moving very quickly, and I think there's enough inventory to price things correctly. So the key things are always making sure that your house looks good, so it's staging it correctly, having the nice cover peel, getting the great photographs. I mean, you really only have one chance to make the first impression, and that's what Nicole and I do. We spend time, we come over, we talk to the individuals, and we help them to prep their house so that the first showing, which is normally online through seeing it on a video or photos, is phenomenal, and it makes the person actually want to come to the house. And hopefully when they're coming to the house, they're sitting down at the kitchen table and writing an offer. But this year has been phenomenal.
So you're saying those shows on HGTV are true when they come in and paint and
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It makes a difference. Huh?
It does.
Get the sledgehammer out.
Yeah. And typically when we go in, Kim, we're not asking people to spend a huge amount of money. We're just telling them to take care of like minor maintenance things that are going to be cheaper for them to do. If they don't do it when the buyer comes in, the buyer always thinks it's going to be more expensive, so it ends up costing them more.
Wow.
And then I also offer staging too, so I will come in and help people how to arrange their furniture, declutter, depersonalize, so it's appealing and it doesn't feel so much like your home. It's open to the masses, and then that normally, you know, relates to a quick sale, so that you're not having to be inconvenienced with lots of showings, etc., that your house moves quickly. And we found that this year a lot of multiple offers, so it's really been a seller's market, getting full price, getting above asking price as well, which is great.
Okay, so little tips
Nicely
here.
said.
Nicole, I've read that median-sized houses aren't. There's not a lot of inventory of them. They said investors snapped them up during the recession and are holding on to them as rental properties, and that the renovation market has boomed. Is that true? Can you speak to that?
Oh, absolutely. There are, we call them flip investors. I'm locally, in every local market, it's an opportunity to make money, whether it's contracting a tenant to pay down the debt and build your equity. Why not have a tenant pay and build your net worth? Or they're actually improving these homes and then reselling them. We have seen some quick flip jobs, and we've seen some that have taken 6 to 9 months that have more quality to them. What I would say, if anyone is purchasing a flip home,
Have an expert join you, huh?
have an expert join you, but have an inspection, possible multiple inspections, because you're trusting the contractor's job. And one area that a investor does not have to, isn't bound so much by disclosure law. So we're bound by Pennsylvania disclosure law. If we know there is a defect related to a property and the seller knows it, of course we all have to disclose this. But as an investor, if you're buying a short sale or REO home, foreclosure, aka foreclosed home, the investor has no knowledge of any of the history of the home. Therefore, when he sells the home, to a consumer, he doesn't have to fill out a seller's disclosure, and he's not bound by that Pennsylvania law because he's no knowledge. That's where the inspections come in handy. We also have, in addition to the housing shortage for sale, we have a rental shortage as well. When we're listing rental properties, we have a personal experience, 25 to 100 plus inquiries, and they're all individual, unique prospects to rent.
So that drives the price of rentals up.
It sure does.
It does.
Are you talking, when you talk rentals, are you talking about apartments, homes, combination of both?
Both.
Combo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely. It's
Wow.
across the board.
Okay.
It is. It's so difficult because as we build relationships with our friends and families, our buyers and sellers, and our tenants and landlords, it tugs at your emotional strings because you really want to help them, especially when they have children and they're displaced. They have nowhere to live.
Well, that's something. But I do notice, Melinda, in the area that there's a fair amount of new construction going on.
Yes.
How are they moving? Because the signs I don't see anything starting under 400,000.
And they're moving very quickly. There's a lot of people that are very interested in getting in at the beginning, Kim, and tailoring everything that they want. So rather than having to remodel their own home, they want to go from the get-go, decide whether they want an additional bedroom, an extra bathroom, how they want their kitchen laid out. And there's certain builders out there that will tailor make anything for your needs. And actually, we're fortunate enough to say, Nicole and myself, we actually are recognized by Toll Brothers as one of their agents that do a lot of sales for them. So anybody that wants to buy a new construction home in the Montgomery County area for Toll Brothers, Nicole and I can get them extra incentives if they work with us as their buyer agent.
Okay, that's great to know, because as you're talking, I'm thinking, I know when I go up Black Rock Road,
Yes.
there's a lot of building going
Yes.
on around there, and I think it's all Toll
It
Brothers.
is, the majority of it. There's some Ryan homes as well.
Ryan, Bertelli.
But
Okay.
there is a huge amount of Toll Brothers, and we have a very
Yeah.
good relationship with them, and because of that, they've brought us onto their board, and as I say, we can offer extra incentives to buyers if they use us as their buyer agent, and that's a benefit to them, Kim, because rather than just turning up and dealing with the builder, you have somebody to protect them. So we would be on their side, going through the contract with them, making sure they understand all the terms, making sure they understand their dates that they have to commit to things, and it doesn't cost them anything. They're getting all our expertise for free and getting some extra benefits, so it's a win for them.
Sure is. That's really great information to get out, guys. I mean, I know if I was in the office, in the market for buying a new home, that would be a game changer for me, because they are beautiful.
Right.
I mean, some of these communities, I think a couple of them are 55 plus.
They are.
They are.
There's one by the Wegmans. One side is for all ages, and then the other side is a 55 plus. And there's a couple down
And
Black
then
Rock
you've
Road.
got the walk to shopping.
Yes.
I mean, it's hey,
Convenient.
that works for me.
Yes,
It sure
yeah.
does.
And
Who
they
needs
take
to
care of a
cook?
lot of the exterior, the maintenance. So you have the swimming pool, have the walking trails nearby. It's very convenient.
It
I'm
really
in.
is.
But all right, well, moving along, guys, that is really good information to know. And you have a lot of FSBOs, for sale by owner. Why, in your opinion, is that not the best idea? I have my own ideas, but I want to hear from you guys as the professionals.
Well, oh my gosh, where should we start?
It'd be nice.
Well, I believe that it's so important to have a designated representative for a seller's interest and a buyer's interest. There's a blanket of protection there, and it's intangible. It's not something you can really define, but having someone that is, one, your coach, and someone working on the defense for you as well to take care of your interests and protect your interests, I think that's really important. Our marketing abilities, we have A to Z opportunities, from digital advertising to the video advertising to print advertising, and we know all the proper contacts to really gain awareness to sell a property. But I think the knowledge and the experience that we bring to the table is priceless. What would you share, Melinda?
I would also say that selling a house is very emotional. And if somebody is selling their own house, as things get tricky throughout the process, Kim, maybe something comes up on inspections or on title, they could get so emotionally involved that they could actually make the deal fall apart. If we're working with another agent, with another realtor, we have a code of ethics to follow. We're the buffer between the seller and the buyer, and we're working to try and get the deal together. So if we don't have the answer, we know a contractor or somebody else who might have the answer. So we have a wealth of information, but our main thing is that we are doing this to act as a pure buffer, so that you're not emotionally getting, screaming and shouting and everybody's going crazy over a $500 credit or something like that we can work things through. Also, for a for sale by owner, what is the benefit for the buyer? There really isn't a huge benefit there. They could be represented by a buyer agent. So the for sale by owner is normally trying to save money on not paying a commission. But as an agent, when we're working with the for sale by owner, again, they're often turning and going to an attorney to do the paperwork, but they don't know everything. So it can be a lot longer process.
Sounds like they could lose money too.
They could lose money. And most people actually prefer, to work with somebody that's represented by a realtor, because they know that they have all these other contacts and that they're going to be following all the rules and regulations, and they know about the contingencies, about the timelines, and it's normally a smoother transaction. So it's a benefit for everybody.
Definitely. And there's also a sense of accountability applied. There's a third party that's involved, and we're making sure everyone is held to their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Did you get those rooms painted like I told you to? Yes. Are you ready for your open house?
Right.
We've actually had to go in and paint some of those rooms.
Oh
We
my
have the
gosh.
house ready
Oh
to
my-
sell it.
Whatever it takes, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, I've spread some mulch in my days too.
Yeah. Cleared snow or whatever we have to do.
Whatever it takes. And you know what? Everybody's busy living their life, working their own job, and then this is a second job, selling a home.
Right.
And because I have a friend who's a realtor, and I know what she goes through, and it's just like, well, this is, no 9 to 5 here. You do what it takes. So paying a professional is well worth it at the end of the day. As we're winding down, Melinda and Nicole, it's really important. We had a great conversation, but people are wondering now at this point, how do I get a hold of you? I want to view your inventory online. How do we do that? Can you guys tell us how to do all that?
610-489-5900.
5,900.
They're thinking of cell phones,
Yeah.
probably. Too many numbers in our
Yeah.
minds.
And then my personal cell phone is 484-557-6045.
And my personal cell, call or text is 610-308-9449.
And then we have a ReMax website. They can go to remax.com and find any properties, any agents. They can specialize in a particular area. So wherever they're looking, they can click on that area, whether it's Westchester, Phoenixville, Royersford, and see the inventory that we have. And our website runs 24/7.
And how much does a consultant cost to sit down and talk with you guys for an initial conversation?
It's
free.
all free.
I like that
Consultation is
number.
There are
free.
free things.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you guys ever do seminars, or thinking of buying a house, or what's involved in renting or anything like that? Or
That's a great question. It's something we've talked about, having educational seminars for buyers and sellers. We haven't hosted that yet, but it's
Maybe in the
definitely
new
something
year.
we'll walk away and we'll talk about it. We're setting goals in December. Our company has an outside speaker coming in that is going to help our agents set their goals and their plan for 2018.
okay.
So that could be on our list.
Absolutely.
cool.
But we always have time, and we always ask the buyer to come in to the office so that we can go through a thorough consultation with them and find out exactly what their wants and needs are. And typically when we take them out, if we've shown them 8 houses and we really haven't found something that they like, we normally go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what is it that we're missing here? Everybody's
Let's
time is
revisit
important.
this.
So we don't want to waste people's time. We hate hearing these stories with somebody showing 50 to 100 houses. Really, if we're listening correctly and we're understanding, we've got the communication going, we should be narrowing things in so that when we're going to look at houses, we're narrowing it down to 3 or 4 that you want to make an offer on.
Okay. I'm
Yes.
guessing you have a Facebook page,
I do.
ReMax Achievers.
ReMax Achievers, Collegeville.
Okay.
And then we have personal Facebook pages as well.
Okay. So we've given you a plethora of ways to find ReMax Achiever, Nicole Roman, and Melinda Bestable. Folks, so we strongly suggest that you check them out. A consulting conversation with them doesn't cost anything. Even maybe if you're not looking to move for another 6 to 9 months, is this a good time to start setting your groundwork?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Especially if you're thinking of listing your home, there can be things that you're doing now in your own time frame to get your house ready for when you are ready to sell it. And then, once the time comes, you can move fairly quickly.
Okay, great.
So much of what we do today is planning for the spring.
Yeah, with real estate, you have to be, as I recall, 4 to 6 months out. It's a process. But you guys will make it an easier process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So on that note, we're going to wind down our conversation for today. We want to thank you all for listening to and watching The Balanced Life with Nicole Roman and Melinda Bestable of ReMax Achievers in Collegeville. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim, for having us.
It's fun.
Our pleasure.